right, good afternoon and happy trade deadline, or I guess not so active trade deadline. Happy, maybe not the word, but so Lance Lynn, Dylan Bundy, Kevin Pillar, no one's coming to the Twins, it looks like, which honestly is maybe okay. I was just looking here and just my quick reaction on what seems to be coming through. It doesn't look like there's going to be any kind of after the wire confirmed deals for the Twins. And so they had been in the rumor market for a starting pitcher throughout the weekend here, with, like I said, Lynn and Bundy being some of the names. We did see several guys get traded as far as starting pitching goes, and definitely some names that maybe would have been intriguing, at least as far as their performance goes as starting pitchers, but ultimately none of them coming to the Twins here. We all know that if you're following along on Twitter or any of the stuff on Twins Daily and Postgame Pint, you know that I was on the Kevin Pillar train, and that didn't happen. Now, I'm not too upset, but it would have been nice just to kind of have something. I think ultimately, as has been pointed out plenty of times, the Twins are in a place that health is going to be their absolute best way to improve as this trade deadline comes through here. Really, we can ask the question: is there anyone that was truly available who was traded that is that much better than Michael Pineda as he comes back here this week? And I think arguably he's right there with all the names that were floated, and maybe even a little more sure than, let's just use Dylan Bundy as an example. We are going on like one really good month of Dylan Bundy, but before that, there's a lot of question marks about him as an Oriole. That's one of the reasons he was available to be signed this offseason. So may not have been the thing. Lance Lynn, now his stuff is there. I think there's just that history is a big question mark. And the other thing with that is it sounds like the asking price for all these guys, as Darren Wolfson has tweeted out here, is they were all looking at Royce Lewis, Alex Kirilloff, or Trevor Larnach. And that, to me, is a hard no when it comes to trying to acquire anyone as this trade deadline came. Those are definitely names and guys that the Twins needed to keep in their organization. I would say if I'm going to be at all critical, it would be that I think the Twins could have and should have added to that peripheral area of their roster. Or the edges of that roster. So to add another bullpen arm, to just add some length, even if it ended up being an arm that didn't stick around and it was something you could get relatively cheaply, I think that would have been worth it. We don't know just kind of when kind of the Cody Stashaks will come back, who the pen is definitely missing at the moment. It would have been nice to have seen that. I'll bring my guy Kevin Pillar back up. He was acquired for a player to be named later and some cash, I believe, which I'm guessing that player to be named later. It is that because he's not in that 60-man player pool, so it's someone who is going to be probably further down a prospect list for the Rockies. And I just think it's one of those places where you could have added, and at that price, even if you end up cutting him at some point in favor of whoever, it's not a huge thing. So if I have a complaint, it's that I really think they should have just filled out and lengthened their roster a little bit more. I think the reality is at this trade deadline, you're just not going to be finding the impact type players that we want as fans, right? We want an ace pitcher. That really was not anywhere available. Lance Lynn, that's just not doing it for me. And also in the short year, you want someone who's going to be there next year as well. And so Bundy did represent that. But again, you're going on a month of really good Bundy. And so you've got to trust that that's going to continue. And I think we've got enough question marks right now in our own roster on where are we a month into the season? Are we hitting trends? Are we hitting reality in the way some of the lineup is hitting? So we'll see what happens. But the thing is, Twins still have lots of guys coming back. if they get healthy, they're in a good place. If they don't get healthy, it could be disastrous, and we could be looking at this the rest of the season. But we're going to hope for the other side. Also hope that just the front office knows more about guys like Josh Donaldson, guys like Byron Buxton, and that we are either they're returning soon or something otherwise, or they just know that they're going to be here and things will be good. So that's it. That's my quick reaction to the trade deadline. Always disappointing to not see moves because it's just more fun to talk about moves. But at the same time, this may have been the best move for the Twins overall. It kept the top prospects in house, which seemed to be the asking price for everything. And they've got reinforcements coming that were part of a team that was rolling until the lineup really got hit. Even though the lineup was still struggling, was still rolling enough to get things done. So if the pitching stays where it's at, bullpen limits home runs, this team's going to be okay. I may have said I was ready to hit the panic button on the bullpen this weekend, but I'm really not quite panicking yet. But definitely there needs to be a shot soon of something good. Maybe that's Brent Rooker tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Thanks for listening. Love to hear your feedback, your reactions. I know not everyone is probably as optimistic as I am, but that's where I'm at. Thanks for listening.